bit more about the disappearance of Larry Burton. He's a 74-year-old man that's gone missing from a care facility here in Greensboro, North Carolina. So we've talked about his disappearance in general, and we've talked about just aspects of him missing and why he went missing. But now we need to talk about who is responsible at the end of the day. So before I go into that, if you are new to the channel, this is a crime channel. I mean, granted, the disappearance of Larry Burton is not so much a crime, but it is really it is. It's a crime. And if you are tuning back in, thank you again for the support. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment. All right. So Larry Burton, 74-year-old Black man from Greensboro, North Carolina with dementia and diabetes, went missing from L&L Family Care Home on Moody Street in Greensboro on July 3rd. Now that's what we do know. Well, that's the beginning of what we know. He went missing. Now today is July 20th. It has been 17 days, and there has been no sign of that man in 17 days. Now I've spoken to a family member. I've done my own research, through court databases and state of North Carolina Department of Secretary of State database and the property tax database. I've gone through a lot of things. And, the news here has talked about him being missing and has talked about criminal charges coming for the owner, but they won't say the owner by name. Well, I know who that is. So L&L Family Care LLC is owned by one Diane Smith. Now, Diane Smith, when I did my initial research on the house itself that he went from, because the care facility literally is a single family home that they have converted over to basically a care facility, but it's not set up like a care facility. It's a house where people share bedrooms and somebody stays there and babysits everybody. So the house itself was bought in 1986 by Diane Lucas and her husband. Now, Diane Lucas is also Diane Smith. Now, Diane Lucas and her husband bought the house in 86 using a VA loan. And that's how they bought the house. And about 2007, this is when they actually filed the articles of incorporation, or the LLC, to get the house converted over to a family care facility. So that's when they did it, was in 2007. So for darn near 20 years, they have been running this facility. And they have been running this facility with basically almost no oversight. Hello again, Ethan. So I was going through it, and they're not really good with paperwork because they've had their filings, their administration dissolved a couple of different times. And it came out that the facility itself has never had a license to be a care, or actually, I shouldn't say never. I don't know if it's never. It's been found out that as of right now, at the time when he went missing, they did not have a license to be run like a facility like that. So there is no licensing through the health department in the state of North Carolina that's given them permission to do this. So that man was staying in an unlicensed care facility with God knows who watching over it. Now, they did say they checked him at 7 o'clock. He was fine. Thank you. They did check him again at 10 o'clock, and he was there. They didn't check again until 7 a.m. the next day, and he was gone. So for 9 hours, that man could have been anywhere. Hello. That man could be anywhere. Now, unfortunately, because of the weather situation here in Greensboro, we have been inundated with severe high temperature and severe storms and flooding. Oh, that's nice, Ethan. But he is missing. And I said, for 20 days, we have no idea where he is gone. I don't know if he's even still alive. Because when he left the facility, he has dementia, he has diabetes. He also had a more recent double knee replacement, and he had a catheter in him. And if those are not checked regularly, that can cause massive infections. Can I pray? Yes, I have prayed multiple times for this man. So we don't know where he is. But now we know who's responsible, Diane Smith. Because for the last 20 years, she's had her administration dissolved. She's refiled. She's claimed this to be a personal care business. She's also claimed it to be a veteran care business. So I don't know if she was trying to get the money from the government to run this or what. But it doesn't matter who she hired to to watch after the residents in this house. At the end of the day, she is the one responsible. She also has a sideline real estate business. So, you know, I just know that the family is beside themselves. They feel guilt. They feel responsible because they put him there, but they were advised to put him there. So my question is, who advised you to put your father there and your grandfather there? Who? And for 20 years, if she's been running a care facility that what she tried to say, it wasn't a um, assisted living facility. She tried to say it was a not assisted. I forget what it was, like a personal care facility, where people who didn't have bad issues could stay. But you knew he had dementia when he was coming in the door. So why didn't you refuse him to be placed there? You can do that. So what was that all about? I want to make a call out to anybody who's ever used this facility in Greensboro, Family Care Home LLC on Moody Street in Greensboro. If you ever had somebody there, a relative or whatever, that is, they have passed away, whatever in that facility, you need to double check and see what the hell happened. Because right now that man is missing. I'm going to, more than likely, he is no longer alive, which means that family needs to file a wrongful death lawsuit on those people once it's been confirmed. Because that is insane. This and unfortunately this happens a lot. You get a lot of these care facilities that are running around without licenses. They're not responsible. I mean, it's, how does this even happen? How are they getting funded? Because it says here they charge almost $3,000 a month to care for your loved one. With what? I mean, you put them in a bedroom, you give them a little bit of food, but you're not watching them because obviously he just walked out the door. There's no sensors, there's no alarms. Somebody with dementia, you have to have sensors and alarms everywhere to know where they're at because they wander, they disappear. You know, my mother, she died of cancer, but at one point, she had, the cancer went to her brain and it was causing some issues. Well, I mean, he's not been, to answer your question. I'm gonna put my glasses on. Eileen, Eileen said, yes, they take their Social Security, but I'm wondering if they're still collecting it. That's a good question because until he's been declared deceased, I think they can. So I don't know what's going on with the family and how they are handling any of this. I spoke, like I said, I spoke to a family member last week. They gave me a bit of a more of a rundown of the timeline of what happened. But right now, as it stands, I mean, I'm assuming that's how they were collecting it. Because like I said, their going rate is like about $3,000 a month. And they tried to say it was an independent care. That's what it was. They called it an independent care facility. And that doesn't make any sense because his daughter, Larry Burton's daughter, even said he had a house with 3 bedrooms. If it was independent care and that's what we needed, he'd just stay at his house. My son would have stayed with him. But he needed specialized dementia care. I agree, Eileen, they do need an attorney ASAP. They do. And I have advised the family of that myself and said, you need to get an attorney on this immediately. Because not only has the home care people completely let them down, Greensboro PD has also dropped the ball because they started looking for him in the first couple of days and now they're not doing anything. And now they're not even allowing outside help to come in, like outside dogs, anybody who can volunteer. They're like, oh, it's a liability issue. We can't allow you to come in. Well, guess what? If you're not going to do it, somebody needs to come in. They need to, because this is ridiculous. This man needs to be found. And I said, I personally don't think after everything that's going on between the high temperatures, the storms, the flooding, and with his own personal health issues, I don't really think he is alive anymore. I pray to God I'm wrong. I would love for him to be found and he just dehydrated and they just get him, boosted back up. But it's not looking good. No matter how I look at it, it's not looking good. And I have a son who's 25. He's autistic. And at some point I'm going to die. It's going to happen. I can't live forever. But I don't want him going to one of those care facilities because you have a lot of those facilities that take people like him. And it concerns the hell out of me because it's a money grab. It really is. And I've made it clear to my other 2 children, he better not end up in a facility like that, or I'll come back and haunt you. It's just not going to happen. And and I don't want to come like I'm coming down on anybody who has put their family in a facility, because not everybody can take care of someone like that. True. And yes, I agree, Eileen. Eileen just said, I totally agree, but they have organizations that could look for him. They have reached out to those organizations, and those organizations have been denied access. That is the truth. Um, but my thing is, there's so little oversight on these care facilities. Like somebody I know who knows somebody gets their weed from a guy who works in one of those in-home, like it's a house that they've converted over to like a little care facility type thing or independent living situation. And oh, okay, you're Catherine Kohler. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's a struggle. But what I'm saying is, this guy who works there and looks over the residence is dealing drugs out of that house. He's got people coming there buying from him. So no, never would I ever put one of my kid in a care facility if it can be avoided. And my thing is, and I told my other two kids, if you ever put him in something like that, you better do your checks and you better be thorough and check out everything, because anything could happen. I took care of my mother till the day she died. I took care of my father till the day he died. And anybody else that's in my life, I will do that for you to keep you from going into one of those places. But no, like I said, there needs to be way more oversight, way more oversight. And the family needs to get an attorney to start suing the hell out of everybody. Everybody. Cops, that care facility, the woman who owns it, they need to sue everybody, because this is insane. And probably even whoever recommended that they put him there, sue that organization as well. So, to answer the question, who was responsible for Larry Burton's disappearance? Diane Smith. She's the owner, operator, and manager of Family Care Home LLC. And she's been operating without a license. Therefore, she is responsible. Doesn't matter who she hired to keep an eye on these people. At the end of the day, she is responsible. So his picture is in the caption of this. So if you guys see him or know somebody who might see him, please reach out, because we need to find him. We really do, just to give his family closure. I hope he's alive still, but to be honest, 17 days, he's got a catheter in him that hasn't been checked. If he's still alive, he's extremely ill. So hopefully he is found soon. But I'm gonna hop off here. I have to go position a couch. So thank you all for tuning in. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and please share, and please comment and like and all that good stuff. And please keep an eye out for Larry Burton, please. This is Rebecca with Red True Crime. Be weird, be rude, be safe.